I listened to a podcast recently, maybe about 3 days ago or 5 days ago, doesn't matter. But there was an interesting way. There was one guy basically who was explaining what is happening in life to us. You know, like the way how he's dealing with problems and so on. I quite like this little story, or the little way how he's thinking. So I can't give him obviously credit because I can't remember his name, but I quite liked it because everyone can obviously explain this different way. But I'm gonna quote. Well, I made a little note about this because I wanted to get it noted. So he says, "Life is a game, and you have to play it to win, and it consists of three things: purposes, problems, and freedoms." He says you should have a nice balance of all three. He says problems. Life is filled with problems. They will come at us. We just need to realize that's life. Then he talks about purposes. Purposes come with problems. And our job in life is to solve those problems. And when we solve those problems, we feel accomplished and get freedom. To celebrate, to rejoice, and to feel accomplished. However, that freedom is temporary. There is this false belief that our end goal is to have an endless freedom, and that's the worst thing you can have, because you have an endless freedom. You are not anymore producing, and you are not longer productive. You are not happy. So what happens? You get bored, you start feeling lethargic, and you end up feeling depressed. So the key is having a purpose, but once you achieve one, you have to get another one. You need to find a new game. If you stay to play the same game, you get bored. So you can become number one in something, let's say in sales for whole California. But if you just stay number one, you won't grow. So nothing ever stays the same in life. It's either getting better or it's getting worse. Therefore, freedoms are also temporary. If you are not producing anymore, you are not happy. So, I mean, there's not much to really add to it. It really makes sense to me because we should all have some kind of purpose. We should have purposes, and we should wake up and be clear what are we aiming to do that day, that week, that year. But obviously with the purpose will come all sorts of problems, all sorts of obstacles, challenges, and so on. But once you go through them and you actually achieve them and you get where you actually wanted to get for all that time, you probably realize that, first you're obviously feeling accomplished and you kind of celebrate it and you have a great time. But if you don't set another goal or another purpose, what you do, you just start to get frustrated that there is, you start to lose the meaning. You won't anymore appreciate what you've got because you are probably that type who needs another purpose or another goal. So I think he makes complete sense by saying you just need to set another purpose. So every time you read something, of course you don't want to go straight away, enjoy yourself, have a good time with it. I'm sure that there is time to just enjoy, just be in that moment. But I think you don't want to stay there for too long because you stop producing. You stop producing, you've done already something. When you stop producing, you feel like you're not useful enough, Then you get bored and you get frustrated, and you probably get depressed as well because you're like, well, what now? So, very simple thing: problems, purposes, and freedoms. If we have too much freedom and you have nothing else to do, you have all the time you want, all the money, that's a nice thing for a while, but in the long run, you need to find something to aim for again. That's about it. So guys, I'll see you later.